But Georgia's government prefers to sidestep questions about why it was stockpiling arms in the Kaduri or who supplied them, instead pointing out that the Abkhazians and Russians attacked first.
Only weapons that were the weapons normally used by police for protecting civilians in this area. There were no plans of military action, attack on any part of Abkhazia.
When the Abkhaz get there and the Russians, and they see Western supplied weapons because the Georgian army has been modernized by NATO countries, they say, you didn't notice them. Well, they did notice the fact there were weapons, but they simply didn't say what sort of weapons.
Colonel Christopher Langton has served as both deputy head of the UN's mission in Abkhazia and as Britain's defence attaché in Georgia, and is now a leading military analyst. He says the UN had noted the arms stockpile in the Kaduri and reprimanded the Georgian government, but that observers didn't bother trying to identify the weapons' origins.
So really, what sort of weapons is not especially relevant?
Well, only if you're pointing the finger at the West in its assistance to Georgia and the fact that Georgians abused that friendship by using weapons and equipment given to them for illegal purposes.
As the director of one of Abkhazia's most respected humanitarian NGOs, Liana Kvarchelia has been working hard to restore order in this largely unrecognised state which is claimed by Georgia.
I think it's very unfortunate that there has been so much focus on Georgian-Russian relations and there was so little focus about Georgian-Abkhazian relations, and why nobody really was interested in why we don't think it's safe for us to live in a Georgian state.
Abkhazians have been living under the threat of a full-scale Georgian invasion for years. And their president believes the recent attacks ordered by Georgia's president Mikhail Saakashvili had the backing of a greater power.
Правда в том, что Саакашвили никогда не полез бы ни на Абхазию, ни на Южную Осетию, если не получил бы добро из Вашингтона. Это 100%. Поэтому первое, то, что они полезли с согласия США, это однозначно, это я знаю. И у меня материалов очень много, и у нас материалов, где фотографии есть, где верхняя часть Кадурского ущелья, инструктора американские обучают грузинских спецназовцев взрывному делу. Прямо фотографии, которые они фотографировали, там бросили это все.
The Abkhaz are keen to show me what the Georgians were up to in the Kaduri Gorge.
Грузия на протяжении многих лет вооружается очень интенсивно западными странами, такими как Соединенные Штаты Америки, Израиль и так далее. Вот. И как бы лишнее доказательство этому вы видите здесь.
We are in the village of Ajara, and my guide, the Abkhaz Army's press officer, Dima, wanted to show me evidence of the Georgian military build-up here. A weapons stockpile which he claims was ignored by observers from the United Nations.
Это боевые трофеи.
Как известно, как вы видите, мы находимся на ООНовской базе, наблюдательный пост миссии Организации Объединенных Наций по наблюдению. Вот. И в нарушение всех соглашений грузинская сторона привезла вот эти крупнокалиберные гаубицы.
And the United Nations was just over here, just a few meters away.
Да, они находились здесь, они должны были следить за тем, чтобы эта зона была демилитаризованная, хотя, как вы видите, это все оружие, то, что вы видите, это все грузинское оружие, трофейное.
The damage and in some cases loss of life was probably inevitable, and that's extremely regrettable. And we also admit that the use of the multiple rocket launchers was not necessarily the best way to approach it, but we didn't have much choice.
Debate rages over who attacked first in South Ossetia. Current evidence indicates that the Georgian bombardment began 9 hours before the Russians advanced through a mountain tunnel from North Ossetia.
I remain, convinced that the Georgians attacked Skin Valley before Russian units moved from North Ossetia into South Ossetia.
But the Georgian action came after a series of incidents which shrewd observers of the Kremlin say may have been designed to provoke the Georgians into a war they couldn't win.
I don't know if trap is the right word, but I would certainly say that a number of things had been going on which would have definitely provoked Saakashvili into some kind of action at some time, and they did. So the provocation was deliberate. I'm in no doubt about that.
As Georgia and other nations in the region move under the NATO umbrella, Colonel Langton says the West has simply ignored Russia's security concerns.
The US and its partners did not understand the strength of feeling in Russia when people were telling them about it for many, many years. And they ignored that. They ignored the sensitivity of Russia, and that was a huge mistake.